Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors are a star-studded team, but these players are already veterans, and what will the future hold without Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Alabama Horford, and Draymond Green? They will only have a successful future if they develop young players with star potential. And Moses Moody has demonstrated through commitment and solid play that he has the potential to be a new, big star for the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are in as good of a spot as possible, given the age and injury concerns of their roster. Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green are all still playing at high levels, and they bolstered their supporting cast with Al Horford. On top of that, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are on easily tradable contracts. The Warriors have plenty of draft picks to play with, as well. On October 8, the Warriors rallied to beat the Portland Trail Blazers 129-123. Led by 20 points from Quinton Post, the Warriors put together a 51-point fourth quarter to secure the victory. After the game, one of Golden State's most tradable players was compared to an All-Star and NBA champion. Moses Moody is the next Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins had a career resurgence with the Warriors between 2020 and 2025, averaging 16.7 points and shooting 38.1% from three-point range. He was the best wing defender on the roster. While Jimmy Butler is a clear upgrade, someone needs to be able to lock down off-ball players on defense, and Moody has flashed some defensive excellence. Last season, he posted a career-high 9.8 points per game on 37.4% shooting from deep, the best mark of his career. Wiggins is still clearly a better player on both ends of the floor, although Moody is only 23 years old and under contract for the next 3 seasons on a value deal. I love Moses' path, to come in here and stay with it every time things haven't worked out for him, praised Steve Kerr before the game. I think the trade last year for Jimmy really clarified his role. He got to guard the ball, he got to be in the starting lineup, and he became our point of attack defender like Wiggs was before. In theory, the Warriors could start Curry, Moody, Butler, Green, and Horford, giving them plenty of spacing and an elite defense, although Kuminga brings better scoring and athleticism. Warriors need to count on Moody and Kuminga. If the Warriors pull off a trade, Moody, $11.6 million, and Kuminga, $23.4 million, have the easiest salaries to include in a deal. However, the Warriors shouldn't be eager to part with either, especially not Moody. In the event that Curry gets injured, Brandon Podziemski is the stopgap backup to keep the Warriors afloat. For both Green and Butler, Moody is the best option to be an injury replacement, at least on the defensive end of the ball. Moody got the start in the preseason win over the Blazers and posted 10 inefficient points to go with a block and a steal. The regular season hasn't started yet, so the Warriors don't have to worry about his 33.3% mark from the field. Warriors may cut ties with disgruntled 6'8" wing via trade to Western Conference foe. Outside distractions could severely hamper an NBA team's ability to seriously contend for a championship, and the Golden State Warriors front office will aim to prevent any noise from throwing their aging core of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green off course. After a long and puzzling restricted free agency standoff with the Warriors, their 23-year-old combo forward Jonathan Kuminga agreed to rejoin the team on a 2-year contract, ending a large distraction for the time being. Unfortunately, Kuminga's off-season spectacle is likely to bleed into Golden State's regular season, making it imperative that the franchise finds a trade destination for the explosive wing. In fact, one NBA writer has hypothesized that the Warriors could trade their former number 7 overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft to a fellow Pacific Division squad looking to break through to the NBA Finals with an unconventional roster makeup. The Los Angeles Clippers are the oldest team in the NBA, 28.4 average age, and desperately need some young talent to sprinkle in with all of its veterans, Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz wrote Tuesday. Jonathan Kuminga, 22, just signed a 2-year, $46.8 million contract with the Golden State Warriors but likely isn't long for the franchise. A fresh start with the Clippers could be just what Kuminga needs to spread his wings. With reports that Los Angeles is done building around Kawhi Leonard, Kuminga could learn from the two-time Finals MVP now and become a pillar for the Clippers over the next decade. An NBA champion in his own right as a member of the Warriors' 2022 title team, it could make sense that Kuminga might be a plausible target for the aging Los Angeles Clippers throughout the 2025-26 campaign. With Kuminga already heading into his fifth NBA season, the Clippers may consider welcoming in the high-flying youngster to lead the franchise into their post-Kawhi Leonard, post-James Harden future. In return for Golden State, it's possible that a package consisting of either veteran forward Derrick Jones Jr. or the $16 million salary of Bogdan Bogdanović and draft capital as a starting point might be enough to get a dialogue started. Regardless, the Warriors' general manager Mike Dunleavy will likely be scouring the trade market for a way to ship Kuminga to a desired destination while also making sure to receive an important potential cog in Golden State's vaunted offensive system. Steve Kerr says Golden State Warriors have found Andrew Wiggins' replacement, admits Jimmy's not that. Steve Kerr thinks the Golden State Warriors have a star to replicate Andrew Wiggins' contributions, and it's not Jimmy Butler. The Golden State Warriors are looking to make a deep run in the playoffs next season. After months of uncertainty, the Warriors have put together an impressive roster. The Warriors have brought in some impressive pieces, such as Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and Seth Curry. On top of that, their two-way stars, L.J. Cryer and Will Richard, have been quite impressive. Of course, Jimmy Butler's presence on the Warriors makes a huge difference. In fact, Stephen Curry believes Butler is a difference maker, putting them a cut above their 2022 championship roster. However, there has been one gap the Warriors have tried to fill this past summer, and that is the one left by Andrew Wiggins. And despite Butler being a player of a similar profile, he isn't the one. Steve Kerr claims Moses Moody is filling Andrew Wiggins' role. Steve Kerr spoke after the Golden State Warriors' preseason win over the Portland Trail Blazers, and had high praise for Moses Moody. Similar to Moody's heroics against the Lakers, the young star delivered another solid performance on both ends of the court, one that Kerr believes showed why he can fill the role Andrew Wiggins did prior to his departure. He got to guard the ball. He got to be in the starting lineup, and he became our point of attack defender, like Wiggs was before. And so, with Wiggs leaving, that opened a void on this team, because Jimmy's not that. Moody has slowly developed into a strong two-way player for the Warriors, and has earned his spot on the team with his play. Moses Moody is instrumental to Golden State Warriors' rotation. Earlier this summer, Moses Moody underwent surgery for a torn UCL in his right thumb. And strangely enough, Moody credits the injury for his shot improvement, as it forced him to focus on his release more. Moody has become a pivotal part of the Warriors squad. In fact, Steve Kerr prefers playing Moses Moody as a starter because of what he brings to the team. If Moody continues to deliver at this high level, then the Warriors will make him a focal point of their squad, not just now, but for years to come. His most important contribution is his defense, as he's becoming the Warriors' primary point of attack defender, especially against quick guards. Moody's strong outings there could be crucial for the team next season. Stephen Curry claims Jimmy Butler brings unique quality to Warriors that 2022 championship team didn't even have. Stephen Curry talked about the Golden State Warriors squad heading into the new season, and how it differs from their 2022 title-winning side. The Golden State Warriors are hunting for that elusive fifth NBA championship. Winning the NBA title for the fifth time in the 11 years since their first win would be quite the accomplishment. As things stand, the Warriors look set with their roster. The big three of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green will lead the charge. Young stars like L.J. Cryer and Will Richard are making a positive impression on the Warriors coaching staff, and will be relied upon to contribute. But Stephen Curry says their squad has a lot in common with the 2022 NBA championship side, aside from the presence of Jimmy Butler, who brings a new element to their side. Stephen Curry believes Jimmy Butler is Warriors' X-factor compared to 2022 championship team. Stephen Curry spoke to Malika Andrews of ESPN ahead of the new NBA season. When it comes to the Golden State Warriors championship aspirations, the superstar is confident. He compared their current roster to their 2022 NBA championship roster in terms of their confidence against other sides. But he believes Jimmy Butler gives them something unique that will benefit them. When you go toe-to-toe, top to bottom, we feel like we match up well with anybody. And we just want to have an opportunity to show that in the playoffs. When we won in 2022, if you had told me in training camp that this was the team that would win it all, I would have believed it. I think there's a little similarity here. But Jimmy adds another dynamic that we didn't even have then. So I'm excited to see it all the way through. Jimmy Butler has shown he can be a playoff machine. The Golden State Warriors did not make the trade for Jimmy Butler for what he can bring in the regular season. It's his heroics in the playoffs that made him an attractive addition. From 2020 to 2023, Jimmy Butler led a less-than-stellar Miami Heat squad to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times and the NBA Finals twice. If Butler was able to accomplish that with an average supporting cast, the idea of him playing with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, 2 of the greatest champions in history, is very tantalizing. Butler and the Warriors can be a dangerous side in the playoffs, regardless of their regular season seed. We saw this when the 7th seed Warriors upset the 2nd seed Houston Rockets in the first round. Steve Kerr has new theory over Jonathan Kuminga's Warriors' frustrations. His agent misspoke frankly. The long contract dispute between Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors is finally over. The Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga agreed to a new 2-year, $48 million deal ahead of the 2025-26 NBA season. During the contract stalemate, Kuminga's agent Aaron Turner made several appearances on media outlets and essentially put pressure on the Warriors to get something done. He talked about Kuminga's contract desires and also touched on Kuminga's role and how he wanted to see it increase in Golden State. Steve Kerr says there is no confusion about what Jonathan Kuminga's role is on the Golden State Warriors. During the contract negotiations with the Warriors, Turner said there was years of confusion about Kuminga's role. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr denied that. Kerr also said that his communication with Kuminga is fine. Our communication is fine. We have film sessions all the time. There's no confusion about what his role is. I think what I understand is his desire for more of a role. I think his agent misspoke frankly when he talked about confusion. I think the difficult part for JK is, everybody in his draft class around him, they were all given big roles right away on bad teams, frankly, that they were able to play through mistakes, play 35 minutes. JK came to a championship team. We won the whole thing his rookie year. So this has not been easy for JK, and I recognize that, but I also think he can be patient. Recognize that he's 22 and there's a lot of things he can improve upon, and that we're asking him to. Jonathan Kuminga could be traded if his relationship with the Golden State Warriors doesn't improve. Kuminga's new deal will allow him to be trade eligible on January 15, which will give the Warriors an opportunity to trade him before the trade deadline. The Warriors are reportedly expected to make Kuminga available on the trade market for the upcoming season. The Sacramento Kings and Phoenix Suns were reportedly interested in Kuminga over the offseason, but the Warriors were uninterested in those deals. Kuminga will have an opportunity to prove himself to start the season. If he maximizes his efforts, perhaps he could repair his relationship with Golden State. If not, he could be traded in the coming months. Jonathan Kuminga refuses to waste energy on Steve Kerr as confession on Warriors' role emerges. Jonathan Kuminga's name holds much promise, especially for the Golden State Warriors, who viewed him as the next thread in their championship-winning dynasty. Now entering his 5th season, the forward represents a new challenge for the Warriors. Can they evolve without unraveling? After an offseason filled with speculation and a contract holdout, Kuminga is now playing to prove whether he can stand in Steve Kerr's plans, and his opinions carried an open honesty. Kuminga spoke to Mark J. Spears about his dynamic with the Warriors head coach. I don't ask Kerr about roles because I know what he is going to tell me. I don't waste my energy. I choose not to ask because nobody is going to tell me. It's whatever, he said. This isn't defiance, but fatigue, the kind of admission that comes once you've heard every version of Be Patient. His admission highlights the young man's understanding of how little clarity he will probably get and how he must create for himself. For Kuminga, silence from the staff isn't conflict after this offseason, it's a sign for him to adapt. He continued, "You just have to find ways to do things when you get out there. Make plays, defend. I don't have a consistent role. I just play a role where I make sure I play defense and run the floor. That's evolution." Kuminga now sounds like a player who understands how to do the small things: hustle, get stops, run on the break, all things that the Warriors have needed from him in the past. Though his place in the rotation remains uncertain, he will have to find a way to make a spot for himself. Of course, Jonathan Kuminga is entering the season with clarity on a financial front. The 23-year-old's contract holdout eventually resulted in a 2-year, $48.5 million contract, including a team option in the last year. Unfortunately, Kuminga did miss out on the player option his camp had coveted, but the compromise will hopefully buy both parties time to re-evaluate the forward's future. Steve Kerr's balancing act with the Warriors. For Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, the challenge has never been about talent, but fit. He told Unscape, "It's been an interesting fit. He's made it pretty clear that he wants the ball and an opportunity that a lot of his cohorts get, and we weren't able to offer that." It's a surprisingly honest remark from a coach who rarely engages with player politics. Kerr's candor also acknowledges what some people might not realize: a system that builds dynasty can also try to box in a player into a hole he might not fit in. The coach's comments on this situations are practical. "We were a championship team," Kerr said. "We won the title his rookie year and have been in the mix the last few years. So, it's been tough." Of course, there is truth to his words. The Warriors' offense is designed around Draymond Green's orchestration and Stephen Curry's gravity, not leaving much room for individual experimentation. For Jonathan Kuminga, this means fighting for every opportunity. But Kerr doesn't seem to dismiss him. "The thing I keep telling him is he can play a role for us, absolutely, with his size, speed, and athleticism. It's a reassuring reminder that, despite flaws, there's still a place for him with the Warriors." For Kuminga, there's no guarantees, but he knows what he needs to do to secure his position in the rotation. As the Warriors enter another season, both sides must know that their balance cannot hold. Eventually, the promise must turn into permanence.